Welcome. I'm Roger Burnley. I'm a coach and also a channel for Wilhelm. And you are attracted to this video because what you will know is that your life is really meaningful. And everything that you might have gone through in your life will have more meaning today because it's December 27th. And you will understand that there's no accidents in your life or in our world, and that's what I was meant to bring you today. But first of all, what I'm going to do is read a message to you that will explain it more. Because we have all felt the chaos in your life, probably, and in our world. But that also means that this is the day that you might really accept more of who you are and your importance and why you are in the world now. Because that was something you chose for a really great reason. And we may not always understand that, but today may help you to do that. And this is the message. December 27th, 2020. Now that you know, what will you do? We hope you find that title intriguing, for it will also be enlightening as you come to understand its meaning. As we have said, you are moving through a massive restructuring, and it is occurring first within you. Roger thought that maybe he might be exempt, as he was, after all, delivering our messages, but none of you are exempt, and that was the real intent of the restructuring. We will give you a story, but first we will ask the producers of the film we will mention to consider sharing some of the profits with Roger. Yesterday, after completing some of his chores, Roger felt a bit of overwhelm and even called his friend to say as much and told them it seemed as if things were moving too fast and he needed to take a break. Roger decided a movie might do the trick, and it could allow him to escape for a bit, and it did quite the opposite. Roger is entirely connected to the information we send while at the same time doubting it and feeling strange for the process itself. You each have felt as if you were all alone on your journey, or most other times believing you are the only one and somehow crazy. We used that word, for we gave Roger a title some time ago that he is now closer to using, and that is deciding I'm not crazy and my life makes sense. Now he believes that title, and so will you, for we will help you. On Christmas Day, Roger's nephew sent a text advising Roger to watch the film Soul. This nephew is the same one who told Roger almost 20 years ago who Roger was by handing him a book, which Roger summarily hid away for years, just like you have been hiding out. But this restructuring will cause you to take a second look. When Roger began to watch the film, he was overtaken by emotions which he could not explain at the moment, but we are providing more clarity now. Immediately following the film, Roger sent a text to his nephew after he had dried his tears. We are giving you context for a reason. During the text conversation, they both remarked on their disbelief that a major Hollywood studio and big corporations would create a film talking about spirituality, and using such vivid imagery that both Roger and his nephew found surprising, for they felt maybe they were the only ones who knew. You understand what we mean. You each have felt that way throughout your lives. You have held onto limitations in your life as Roger has. That is why we asked the question in the beginning. Roger now knows what he was meant to receive during this restructuring, and that was his sense of purpose and belief, which is and always has been helping others find their rightful place in the world. What we will do now that you know what will you do now that you know you weren't an accident? If you don't remember, we told you this yesterday. You will be fine. And what they told us yesterday in 2020 was, if only you could stop believing in accidents. That's for each of us. We're not accidents. We just evolve, and we evolve in our consciousness, and we do that over time as we live. And we each take on different roles. And mine was to bring in this work. And mine was also to go through a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of illness, a lot of things, so that I could bring in a different work so you don't do that. This is how we all evolve. It's just different roles. Everyone is not going to take the same role. You're not going to find everyone who's going to agree with you. It is about you agreeing with yourself and starting and beginning to believe in yourself and why you are here. And it's all laid out. And you might think you take arbitrary actions. You might have felt that in the past, recently, but that's not true. You are being guided. On Christmas or Christmas Eve, I made a different change. I changed my plans, questioned it, and then I published something on Christmas, which was the Wilhelm blueprint. Because what I received was a consciousness-raising guide for humankind, for this time in our world. As Wilhelm says, we're moving through a restructuring. That's what it feels like in the world as everything's kind of splitting apart, but it's actually for us to come together and for you to know who you are. And then we think things are accidental, and they are not. I will be speaking to Coast AM with George Noory on Monday. Now, that was scheduled in January, but miraculously it got moved up to the 29th because this is when we needed to have it. And today is the 27th, which we're having another little evolutionary shift. And so you will feel more of the energies of you being guided to accept yourself and deciding if you're going to go into fear or into love of who you are. And I set it all up because I even changed my website yesterday to put a place there where you can see it's all prepared for Coast to Coast AM, because there may be many people who will come and listen to this. You could have been hiding out from yourself for a long time, but now is the time that you might take the next step, and you will see it on my site as well. And then yesterday, I was guided to put out something else. I said I should have been rich by now. Well, no, I was meant to be rich. That's what I said. I put that out, and people will wonder, what was that? This is part of the generational change that we're moving through. We're meant to embody more of who we are, and sometimes that shows up in allowing ourselves to become abundant, and that is ownership of who we are. And so now today you will understand all of that because you will see it on the messages that I've put together that Wilhelm has given us since 2008 on this date. There is a progression that we have in consciousness that I was given through Wilhelm, and I said that there was order in the universe and there's order in your life as well. It just takes time for us to accept that and to come to believe it. But today may be the day that you do that. Thank you so much for being here, and please subscribe to the channel if it's your first time and share it with others. We want more to know how brilliant you are as well. See you soon.